What's up, Johnny?
Hey, hey, Richie.
Timing's everything, huh?
Yeah, that was pretty slick right there.
Joel, how are you? The wizard.
That means he's good. He's
The
got
wizard.
a smile, peace sign.
The wizard is good.
Yeah, he's doing his thing back there.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Well, here we are, Golden Touch Studios.
Yeah, back after the big Bloody Mary extravaganza.
Something you'll notice about this show, we're gonna do a little couple shows here where we record the shows and edit them, and then post them. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see how that goes for us. That was a great night.
Yeah.
Shout out to the vodka company.
Yeah, the Surf City Distillery. Yeah.
Surf City, yeah, they hooked us up.
Yeah.
The girls all did a great job.
Those are Bloody Marys I'd never seen before.
And Rhonda took the cake there with the Jack Daniels Bloody.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
That was something I've never had before. That was
Interesting
flat out,
taste.
That was flat out delicious. Yeah. Dangerous.
There was a couple meals there we had that night.
Yeah.
Anyway,
martinis are next. So
are we doing martinis
yeah,
next?
so that one should be even. That should go to the next level because martinis, man.
We'll be fucked up by the end of that one, man. So you're well. Everything's cool.
Yeah, everything's good, man. I'm working and playing as usual, taking care of my mom. She's 97, and
Bless her heart.
yeah, she's doing great, man. She had hip replacement, and 2 months ago, almost to the day, and she's already driving to the store and getting around, cleaning the house, doing the. You know,
She's a strong,
she's
independent
an
woman.
alien or something. I don't know what the hell. Yeah, strong, independent woman. So that's going good, and music is good, and yeah,
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of gigs myself. Not as
I've seen that. Yeah.
yeah, I've been been busy having a good time down at Laguna Beach and
Yeah, well,
did
you
some
should
San
be.
Diego gigs.
You should be out there gigging, man. You're a good performer.
Yeah, it's tough when you don't have a band. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like you have to throw something together for everything.
yeah.
And not that there's not a pool of great musicians to choose from,
Right.
blessed in that manner that, will play with me. But, yeah, interesting stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff in the bands these days. But
Yeah. Well, the thing about bands is, that's that old thing. If you have a gig, you have a band.
yeah,
And so you always have gigs, and yeah, there are a lot of great players in South County and Orange County, and they're under great drummers under every rock, So
that's not true.
well, I don't know, my perspective.
That's not true.
Is. But yeah, it's like we said before, you keep doing it because it's not your passion; it's your affliction.
Yeah.
And so we just have to, I can't stop. I don't. Everybody I play with, that doesn't even come into their mind that they would ever stop.
Excuse me.
Once they stop hiring you,
Yeah.
then you'll stop.
Yeah. As soon as nobody calls, you're like, well, I guess it's over now.
Just sit in my room with the bongo drum and.
Yeah. So much going on in the world, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's hard to find a point to start with, but we hope that you guys are all doing well and are safe and happy and enjoying your life. But there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. It's hard to believe. I mean, I'll just like for me, yesterday, shout out to all the veterans in this world and the next. Thank you for your military service. If you're a family member of someone who served, you sacrificed a lot as well. And I wasn't, I just kind of put all this together yesterday, but Armistice Day is something that is celebrated like
Veterans Day.
And yesterday, and I've watched a lot of independent reporting from what was going on in London. And again, I think everybody has the right to protest peacefully. But why they would allow that to happen on this day in London when they know all these old blokes,
Yeah.
that are around from World War II, anybody that might have been around
Vietnam.
from Korea, Vietnam,
Gulf War.
who wanted to go down and be with their mates and You know, maybe have a pint and remember people that aren't there, people that you fought with, the places that you went to, what you experienced. Um, you know, those people were reported by MSNBC, CNN that they were right-wing extremists. I thought
Right.
they only had those in
Right.
our country,
Right.
but apparently they have them everywhere. If you,
When it's convenient, they're everywhere.
yeah, when it's convenient.
Yeah.
But you know, there was some guys there that were going to go down there anyway. There was, you know, a parade and, you know, guys marching and the bands were playing, and then there was some guys that, you know, some of those footballers, you know, you know, if you're in a club over there, you know, they were like, well, we're going to go, we're going to celebrate with our boys, but we're also going to, you know, go and make sure that, you know, they're not tearing down any of our statues. And they were all really, you know, I saw a bunch of interviews they're like, no, we're not going to let people do that because that's not the look we want. But, you know, there was some clashes. Apparently, you know, 90-some people were arrested. And, you know, they said that it was all far right, far right, far right.
Yeah.
I have two things here. Fuck the media. Fuck the media.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, you know.
That covers it.
Everything, you know, New York City, I saw a tagline on something on YouTube I was watching. A guy was arrested for pulling a gun and firing a warning shot on someone that was being mugged in the subway.
A woman.
Yeah, and he was arrested.
He was arrested. Not only was he arrested, she kind of threw him under the bus too.
Yeah,
because I saw where she was interviewed, and she said, "Well, I'm so glad he did it." And it was so great, but you know, people walking around with guns, it's just, you know, I wish he wouldn't have done it.
The warning shot thing to me, you know, I don't know that I'd be firing any warning shots. Oh, fuck. I don't know that I'd be firing warning shots.
Yeah, that you never know with that.
But, you know, when my laser hits your chest,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, you're probably going to stop.
Yeah.
But, and then again, you know, that's one of those things when you have a gun and you get involved in those kind of things. We have to make a decision.
Well, and here's
do I get involved? Do I not get
involved?
involved?
And that decision is starting to be made for people. Who the hell is going to help anybody in New York City?
Well, they labeled him vigilante.
That's what I mean. Who's going to help anybody? You know, the kid. What's the kid's name that did the chokehold?
Penny.
Yeah, you know,
Penny somebody.
Yeah. So there's so many things that come into play with that, and it's, you know, there's the racial component to no matter what happens, because everything is racist, and then there's the gun control thing that comes into play. So all these things come into play, and as my friend Matt Johnson says,
Great American.
it's a big hassle. So why do it? You try to help somebody, and no good deed goes unpunished. You know, and that's etched that in stone.
I mean, it might not have, you know, been a good reference, but it just, you know, again, the way the country's going, these kids are marching around, you know, protesting, you know, anti-Semitic, you know. Listen, I have friends that are Palestinian, and I have friends that are Jewish, and I've had for my whole life. You know, and I'm 57 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it up to me to decide who? You know what I mean? You know, I'm not a history professor, but I'm pretty sure that the Jews came from Judea, right? Which was there long before any of that other stuff was over there.
Yeah, and they've been kicked out of every place they go, and you know, you just got to fight and try to get back, and that's what war is. When you win a war, you get the spoils, right? And it's always been that way.
But it was a British colony,
right.
But prior to that. And the other thing I have to say is, nobody wants these poor people from Palestine. Why?
Yeah.
Egypt doesn't want them. You know.
Well,
Lebanon doesn't want them. You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, what is that? And they're the people that are suffering. You know what I mean? Israelis are suffering. You know what happened on the 7th? And you can be a denier. I don't fucking care what you believe. You know what I mean? Like, I watched it.
It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe anything. 10,000 Palestinians have been killed since October 7th. Have they? Has that happened? Really? Have they? I don't know. Maybe they have. That all comes from Hamas. You know, that's what they say.
And these Hamas guys are hiding like cowards somewhere.
Well, they've always done that.
But a bunch of them live in like Qatar, or some other place. So all the money that everybody gives these poor people in Palestine, is fucking like, you know.
Arafat was worth $1 billion. You know.
What was his name? Hadid, the guy in Mogadishu that they would confiscate all the food and the money that everybody sent there. As a warlord, it's the same thing.
Well, I'm not a.
And if you can't walk around with your face exposed, and trying to make a point, you're hiding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're hiding. Everybody, they're hiding. And we talked about this briefly. Where did all these Palestinian flags come from?
Right.
Where did they come from?
Just like 2020 when the riots happened, where did all people were being bussed in? Who paid for these buses? Who paid for the big pallets of bricks? Same
Where
thing.
did the flags come from? How could you get that many flags in one?
Like you were saying, it was.
What do they call that thing? A Sherpa? No, Sherpa's a guy that carries your shit in the Himalayas.
Yeah.
There's a thing for the scarf.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, everybody at Harvard had one.
The banners are huge. They're everywhere.
And it's a fucking sin. You know what I mean? Like, and then,
Well, speaking of Harvard and Columbia, and people are starting to take their donations away. So we'll see if that'll, all these donors.
I hope it does.
The donor class is starting to, especially the guy from Columbia. He give him $50 million, but Jewish students are being locked in their rooms. They can't get out.
Terrified to go to class.
They're locked in libraries. We've seen the videos of all that.
People have been assaulted.
Mm-hmm.
The guy died in Thousand Oaks, didn't he, at a protest?
Yeah. Hit in the head with
fell over.
Yeah,
they said
a megaphone.
or was he hitting the head with?
Megaphone. Yeah.
Oh, he was hitting the head.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I didn't.
Well, you were talking about the. Why the other countries, Jordan and them, they're just blocking their borders. And I'm not a history professor. I know a little bit about the Middle East history, but I was in Israel, and
you were too, right before the pandemic,
right?
The pandemic.
Yeah, the day we got out the day before they shut everything down. But so the Palestinians in Israel and the Jews, they have a truce. They get along fine. I had a new wedding ring made. Palestinian guy made it for me. Mm-hmm. I went into Jerusalem, got a haircut because I always get a haircut if I go travel. Palestinian guy.
20,000 people a day would leave Gaza
at least,
and travel back and forth.
Yeah. We came by. Our tour guide goes, see that parking lot there, which was just massive. Goes to the day workers that come in, and the guys, the Palestinians I talked to, they don't want to go to Gaza. They don't want to live under Hamas. Their lives are pretty good there.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say is, and I don't know if this means anything, but when we would go to areas that were, run by Israelis, they were just nice, Orange County like, and we go to the Palestinian Nazareth and a couple of other cities like that, and they weren't. We'll just put it that way. We'll just put it that way.
I don't know what
and so I don't know, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, if they know, but they don't. Israel doesn't really want a one-state solution because they don't want all those people under their control. They don't want all those people from Gaza. They can't afford them. That was the conversation I had with people, and they were just saying,
"Who has to pay?"
Yeah,
we pays?
We can't afford. Well, not unlike New York, San Francisco, Chicago, that has all these people. They can't afford to have all these immigrants in there.
Chicago's blowing up like fucking nobody's business.
Yeah, well, those people on the south side of Chicago, and they have a beef. They have a legitimate beef, right?
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Well, I agree 100%.
Yeah, they would like to have some more police in the south side of Chicago is what they would like to have, and not have to spend money on that rather than housing and taking over hotels and gyms and schools that are abandoned and whatever building they can find and putting people up.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, but I like the fact that they're speaking out and making it an issue because it won't get fixed unless somebody makes it an issue. I mean, if I was
they're starting to.
Well, it's like the border. We were talking about the southern border. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With all that's going on in the world right now, like cease and desist.
Yeah, I know.
Any of your fucking bullshit You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to put tanks down there, but there
Yeah.
should be some troops along that border making sure that nobody's coming into our country. Because, it only takes, listen, a couple of crates.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. I'm sure I could get this done.
Yeah.
Okay? I could get stuff shipped here from China in a shipping crate and brought to fucking L.A. Harbor or Long Beach Harbor, because I know people that do that. They ship stuff from China all the time.
Right.
So all you have to do is get the people here, and then you've got this container full of weapons, and then you have what happened over there happen here.
Right. Right. Well,
But we're
yeah,
too busy.
well,
We're
they-
too busy with feelings over facts and science, and like
yeah, we were talking about the science thing that
well, that's
people don't necessarily believe in science; they believe in
Scientists.
that that
blows me away.
that parrot what their thinking is. So
Well,
yeah, the borders. It's just crazy, man. Because they've caught 150 people on the terror watch list in the last 6 months or whatever. Okay,
what about the gotaways? What about the other people? And why? They're not coming in as families.
no, you see.
They're not. I just see men, mostly men.
Mostly military age men coming over, and they would change that look if they could. The media would, and make it look like crying babies are coming over.
Oh, let's do that
But they're-
again.
but
Fuck the media.
Oh yeah, that's our mantra for the new show. Yeah. Anyway, so but I was talking to a friend of mine, and you and I were talking about the big election coming up next year about this time.
Yeah.
And the bottomless pit of contempt that people have for Trump, right?
Yeah.
And I have a couple friends that I talked to in the last 3 weeks or so that they finally agreed, his policies worked and they were better.
But still going to try.
They're still
not
not going to
vote
vote for him.
for him. Oh, maybe they'll vote for Ramaswamy.
I don't know.
Oh, Vivek.
I don't know.
I hear they were cursing at him and shit at this fucking debate.
Yeah.
I only saw pieces the next
Yeah, I
day.
can't get myself to watch those things, but yeah.
I don't watch them either, but I
Yeah.
like the fallout.
That's more fun. Well, it's like
Scott was on the end. Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
And then the dude from Florida, what's his fucking name?
Oh, DeSantis.
DeSantis. And then the Haley girl.
Yeah.
And then somebody on the other side of her that was
Yeah.
the guy from Jersey,
Oh, yeah.
Christie.
Chris Christie, yeah.
And he starts on her about the TikTok thing,
Yeah.
And he's like, you want to ban TikTok, and you gave me shit about being on TikTok because I'm trying to understand TikTok. You know what I mean? I want to know.
Yeah.
And your daughter's been on it the whole time. She's like, leave my daughter out of your mouth.
Well,
You
her daughter's 20-some years old, so. you
Yeah,
know.
well. Yeah.
And then they said that same thing about Hunter.
Yeah.
There were articles about, leave his kids out of it. He's 52 years old.
Yeah, you ain't a kid. Listen, and what about and listen, no one is above the law, John.
Yeah.
Equal, it's spread equally.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you. That is the biggest fucking hunk of shit. Fucking, it's like the science.
Yeah.
Shit's only when it's convenient. Only when it's convenient.
Yeah, well, it's when it supports the team jersey thing, then it is,
Yeah, take that jersey off and burn that motherfucker.
One of the guys that I was talking to, he said, we were talking about Trump, and he goes, all these people leaving California, they're all Trump supporters. I'm glad they're leaving because they all love Trump and blah. That's not why they're leaving, man.
Yeah,
That's not why they're leaving.
Well,
and the thing about it is, the tax base is leaving too.
Yeah.
And I was reading about Oregon in the last 2.5 years, $14 billion in tax base Oregon has lost, mainly Portland, businesses getting the hell out. And that's who's leaving California. And I'm sure some of them are, diehard Republicans not going to put up with this shit anymore and blah, blah, blah. But most of them are just, they can't afford to live here.
I was going to say, California in general.
Yeah.
Forget the politics of living under the Lizard King.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Gruesome Newsom. Like, it's expensive to fucking live here.
Yeah.
Shit costs fucking money. And now with the economy the way it is, you hear people go, oh, gas is $3.60. Not in fucking California,
No,
it's not.
Yeah, no, it isn't. It isn't. And,
Cars are more. The registrations are more. I mean, everything is fucking more.
Well, it's interesting. You say that. I was talking about my mom earlier, and like I said, hip replacement. So she hadn't been out for a couple months.
She saw the gas
She
prices?
went to the store earlier this week. Finally got in the car and went to the store, and yeah, she came home pounding on the basically pounding on the table, and
Well, yeah, I can't. You can't blame her.
yeah. Well,
She used to probably get drunk on a quarter.
Yeah. Yeah.
My granddaddy used to say that.
Drunk on a quarter.
Yeah, he said shots were beer for a nickel and shots were a dime.
Yeah, yeah. 50 cents on nickel beer night, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just it's sad to me. But and then what's going on with these people protesting? Because the warmongers, the war machine. What part of the swampy Pentagon war machine. All these Democrats are losing their shit. The young vote. They're saying, "Oh yeah, we're listening." What do they call him? Genocide Joe. They got the LBJ chant going. Hey, LBJ, how many kids did you kill today? Shit.
Yeah.
They've recycled that now, and they're running up and down the streets.
So that is such a conundrum for people because you know what I mean. Because Biden's their guy. They can't vote. They can't vote for Trump or whoever comes in. But they've got to hate him because he supports Israel. So poor babies, what are they going to do? I guess I'll go with Kennedy maybe.
Mr. Independent.
Yeah.
It's again, I'm laughing inside at these people, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. I'm not anti LBGT. How's it go again?
Alphabet soup thing?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. But, most people in that part of the world that you're trying to support would kill you. They throw you off a fucking building.
Oh, yeah, that's queers for Palestine.
Listen, just smarten up. Like, you know what I mean?
There's some menses right there.
You don't want to go
right?
there and flaunt that shit because they're not going to allow you to have that freedom that you deserve. I agree. But
well, that's
yeah, it's just
I
mean,
that goes right.
They're starting to eat each other again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
right.
The arguing back and forth about who's going to run and he shouldn't run, and
Well,
everybody should be treated with respect and equally, But what about Israel?
Yeah.
You're just, you know what I mean? Watched something on the internet about someone that got pulled over in New Mexico. A young person. It was a female, and she got pulled over because she did something wrong traffic-wise, and then there was a smell of alcohol, and instantly she said, "I have generational anxiety."
Oh, I saw her.
And PTSD.
Yeah, poor thing. I saw her.
And he said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I do too." And she said, "And I'm non-binary."
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am." And she's like, "Now you're triggering me."
Yeah, he's white. He was white too,
and I'm indigenous.
Yeah. Maybe she is.
You know what I heard Candace Owens say? Life's tough. Wear a fucking helmet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Next question.
Right.
Like, really? Like, it's a police officer. You've done something wrong. You're doing something illegal. You could, who knows how much you've had to drink. Maybe you're going to fucking run somebody over. Maybe you're going to cause an accident. Maybe you'll live and other people will die. It's a fucking law.
Yeah.
And I'm a police officer. And for what I could see, he was very nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I watch a lot of them. You know what I mean? And that's not to say that there's not a lot of jerk-off fucking cops out there. Trust me.
Well, they have to be.
I've been hit with fucking billy clubs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know.
Yeah, I've had my moments too.
But, it's always worked out for me.
Yeah.
Whether I had something in the car that I wasn't supposed to have, something else in the car that I wasn't supposed to have. If I'm nice and polite, I'm get away. You know what I mean? And it's white privilege. You know what I mean? Trust me.
Well, people like that.
I grew up in the city of Philadelphia. It didn't matter what color you were. The fucking cop beat you.
Yeah.
Baltimore, the same way. Jersey didn't fucking matter. You know what I mean? So,
well, L.A. was the same way back in the day too. And probably not as much now, but Inglewood and L.A. and South Central. I mean, that was some nasty business there.
But again, like you have to be respectful. It's just like walking. I see so many, they call them Karens or Kens or whatever. People losing their shit over like French fries at McDonald's. Or I got the wrong food, right? And I had a verbal conversation with the lady in the drive-thru, and she shot at me. Like that kind of.
I know.
It happens.
Yeah.
There's pictures, like, she went back to her purse, got a 22 fucking pistol, and shot at the guy's car.
Well,
There's so much of this shit that goes on.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there are reasons for it. I mean, of course, the big reason right now is there don't seem to be much in the way of consequences.
Oh no.
But it's also, this horse is still breathing thing, but that everybody gets a trophy generation, which means in your special and everybody's
Then
not
I have
special.
generational anxiety.
know.
This fucking generation gives me fucking anxiety.
Yeah, kids, what's the matter with them today? Right.
I wish I knew. I don't know.
Well,
I think it's definitely education. I think parents are too busy doing other things. I mean, I don't have the answer.
Well, when you're
and
told,
again,
when you're told you're
I'm
special,
not a marriage counselor or a fucking professor, but
yeah,
it doesn't seem like, if there's a family and a village to raise you and teach you right from wrong, you know what I mean?
yeah,
If there's nobody there to do that, you know what I mean? And you're left to your own accord, you know what I mean? And again, there's so many mental health issues in this country that no one's dealing with, but we're giving billions of dollars to Ukraine. We're doing all these things that helping people's one thing. Bleeding us fucking dry here is another thing.
yeah.
While everybody makes money on what's being sent to them. Government's going to shut down possibly. The military and a bunch of other federal workers won't get paid, but the people who fucking vote on it,
Yeah.
they're getting paid.
Oh yeah. I mean,
They're getting their fucking chicken. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. That's what war's all about, is getting paid.
Well, yeah, beans and bullets. I get that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But still, and again, you might not have liked the mean tweets, but nobody was fucking getting killed.
Right. We weren't in wars, and yeah. Well, all that stuff we were talking. We were also talking about all the all the presidential rules and laws that Trump had done and executive orders, and Biden overturned or reversed more than any president in the history of presidents. It was like 43 of them in the first
Who did?
2 days.
Biden
did,
or Obama?
Biden did.
Oh,
Obama did too. Every president does.
that was.
Oh yeah, same. It's one and the same, right? Yeah.
Joe's not smart enough to sit down and go,
Yeah.
give me everything he did.
Well,
right? See, Trump as a
I know.
businessman, and again,
Yeah.
that was the fucking part about him that I
He's a CEO. He's a CEO. That's
This
what,
is-
this is a
we're-
large. This is a large company.
There's probably
This
money to
country.
be made for everybody if we do it this way.
Yeah.
But
Well, all those things, most of those things, to me, I was reading about them. They were just out of spite. We got back in the Paris Accords, which we had no reason being there. The title, the Stay in Mexico thing, he just as soon as he got in there. So yeah, a lot of that stuff was out of spite. The Keystone Pipeline and arguments about, well, we wouldn't have gotten any oil from it. It was all going to go to China anyway. Blah blah blah. Like we were talking about, it's the attitude towards oil and gas. And that attitude.
it's the attitude here, though. Just here.
Yeah.
Just here.
That's what I'm talking
in
about.
America.
Which is, he said we're going to get rid of fossil fuels. So that's when the ESG thing really started kicking in. Bank of America and Chase, they're not going to deal with or give loans to or do business with people that are in the oil and gas business. Now they may still do it with Exxon, but the little pipe fitting company or that make parts, that type of thing for the oil industry. Those are the smaller companies that are just losing their banking. They're going to have to go to farmers and merchants or something,
But what there's a word called petroleum products, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have these people, Greta Thunberg and her crew of merry, nefarious, really dumb people that like to block roads and
They just did it.
glue themselves to walls.
They just had a big one yesterday. Yeah.
Okay.
With her.
Again, I understand your concern for the planet, and I would be concerned for it too. But there are certain things that we just can't change at the moment, and definitely would need to be moving in a direction, to help, ease things up that aren't really great, But right now it's just like a money making machine. It's like
Yeah,
the
and
recycling.
a power machine too.
But like, listen,
Yeah.
like this cord right here is part petroleum product. You know what I mean?
The
My
clothes,
tennis shoes are part
everything
petroleum product. Like
everything that
at
Greta,
some point,
everything she does is where she goes. Her life, everywhere she goes, it's petroleum. is part of it.
fly on an airplane, ride
Yeah.
in anything that has a tire. Yeah,
Well, and
again,
here's the other thing.
we're
What
not
you,
ready for that shit.
You know
like,
something? What you just
right
said
now.
is right. We can ease into it, and it's a really good idea. Do you remember when electric vehicles? We thought, oh, that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
That might work. And now that you're told you're an asshole if you don't buy into it, now it's put a spin on it, and I don't want an electric car.
Yeah,
fuck you.
Yeah. Well,
You can't make me get one.
I don't want some 9, 12-year-old kid mining, you know what I mean, for the material that it takes, you know what I mean, for cell phones, touch screens, batteries. I mean, all that shit, you know what I mean? Like,
well, and the problem is people resent being told what to do. That
I don't
even
like,
if we
I don't like being told what to do.
Well,
either.
that's the thing. But even if we eased into it, like you were saying, those people are still going to be mining cobalt and that type of thing.
Well,
so that's still happening.
Let's get after that. You know what I mean? If you want us to not you know what I mean, not drill for oil and do this, do that, then because we're proficient doing that here, and it's available to us in our country, and we probably do it a lot better than most other countries. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's okay to do it in Venezuela. It's okay to do it in China. We can get oil from this guy. We can get oil from that guy. You know what I mean? Like, again, come on, like, just open your fucking eyes and go, wait a minute, like, why is it this way? You know what I mean? Like,
China.
Why are you doing that? You know
China
what I mean?
is opening up coal plants like they open up Starbucks over here.
Yeah.
They've got 9 or 10 of them that are going full force, and they're almost ready to go. So, yeah, that all that hypocrisy and that. And the problem with it is it takes good ideas and people don't want anything to do with it. And by 2030 in California, you're not going to be allowed to buy an internal combustion engine, a new car.
I'll never buy another vehicle then. I have a motorcycle that's a gas engine.
Yeah.
I have a truck that's a gas engine. And maybe if I have to, I'll buy a diesel something before that happens.
Yeah, well, they're starting to backtrack on all that stuff because they can't, because it's just not going to be ready. It's just not going to be ready.
Again, we have to ease into it. You know what I mean?
Well, and the thing is, all these, they're all, except for Tesla, because he's kind of got it figured out. And he's going to
shout out to Elon Musk.
He's going to come out with one that's a $45,000 car, he said. So I guess that'll, but everybody else, Ford, Chevy, or GM, they're all pulling back because they've all lost billions. And they said, we're not going to do it anymore. And that's what one of the big problems with the strike was for the auto workers, because they were losing jobs to China, and which they've always have, but they're just going to eliminate jobs with these electrics. So
you didn't get that manifesto either, did you? They kept that buried.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of China, I saw where Xi Jinping was coming to San Francisco to meet with Sleepy Biden, and they were cleaning up the homeless.
Yeah, I saw that.
They were putting a silk hat on the old pig.
Yeah.
Trying to send her out there. Yeah. So interesting, It's so fucked up. You know what I mean?
Man, you go to San Francisco, so you know.
Yeah, so if somebody comes here, we want it to look nice. But for you people that live here, the few of you that are left that pay taxes, that aren't on drugs, being robbed, or in a gang, right? We don't care what you fucking think. But some guy comes from another country, and the president comes here, and we want the place cleaned up. Yeah. They did that with the mayor, and they wound up losing their shit. They only got like 7 minutes into the the meeting they were having on the corner of City Hall there at the square. They came in with fucking pressure washers, cleaning up shit off the fucking.
They did in San Diego one time too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just for those 2 days.
Maybe that'll get Gavin to actually come back into the state.
Is he at his house in Wyoming, or is he traveling around the country talking shit about everybody else?
Yeah, talking shit about everybody
Fuck
else.
Him
and
too, yeah.
Xi Jinping is coming. That's his buddy. I mean, he was just over there.
Yeah, let's lick his fucking ass.
Yeah, what was the amount of money he spent on masks? That
it was
remember
ridiculous.
that?
And they were late coming.
Yeah, and we lost hundreds of millions of dollars on the shit, and Gavin was all, man.
Yeah.
You were talking about mental illness, and it's getting kind of backtracking. It triggered something.
I think he's a sick fuck. No,
yeah.
But.
And you know what kids are going through these days. I mean, every generation said kids don't, the younger generation's full of shit. Blah blah blah. Well, it's a little different now because.
Woo.
Okay.
I'm good.
You got to one spot in that thing
Yeah, it was like there was tannerite or something in there. It just.
Anyway, real quick, I did a gig with Sully and our friend Mark Sully in Selleberg. And anyway, he was talking about a thing on Netflix about people live to be 100 years old. And I watched some of it, and I think it's Guam maybe is where they have everybody's 100, right? And
good island living.
They wanted to go and find out why. Well, all these people they don't really pay attention.
Give a flying
they
fuck.
They have a strong community, so that even the old
village,
people,
yeah.
even the old people are together. Everybody does something. They're gardening. They've got a little side business of making this and that. Even no matter how old they are, it was really interesting. And
Makes sense.
And their diet was good. It wasn't a lot of meat and blah blah blah. But I really think it was just, it's that everyday focus of a reason to get up, one foot in front of the other, and you live a long life.
Yeah. And then listen, there's a lot of things we talked about this prior to the with the COVID. A lot of people with that mental health thing, or just, even people that are just everydayers, you know what I mean? Just getting up, going to work, coming home, they're not out doing, they don't want to be around people. They have, concerns or anxiety or whatever, which is understandable. And, I don't have it. And I'm empathetic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, then you throw all this other shit on them, you know what I mean? About the vid and all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are freaking the fuck out,
Well, I have this thing about, you have a lot of friends and you have family and you have a network of people, as do I.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people that are in their 40s and 50s, women that, for instance, that went for their careers instead, guys that are just living by themselves, and all of a sudden you get to be 75 and it's just you. I think that loneliness thing is going to be a huge, huge issue in the not too distant, because people who need people. Sorry, but yeah.
We all need someone to love.
Yeah.
I think my sister will take care of me. I'm looking out for that at this point.
Is that a fact?
Yeah. She said we're going to have a little property in Arizona somewhere, and we'll have you in a trailer out back. She said.
With a window air conditioner
going
24 hours a day. So you got any gigs coming up? Any shameless plugs?
Shameless plugs. Let's see. I am playing the night before Thanksgiving at Cook's Corner from 6 to 10.
Oh, that's a good night.
Yeah. Are you playing?
No, we're not playing, but that was a fun night. I remember all those ones we did at Swallows.
Yeah.
With the Strays. That was a really fun
Shout
night.
out to the Swallows Inn.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Marines. Gunny.
We're going to try to get Gunny on one of our shows, I think.
We're going to get Gunny on the show for sure.
Yeah, I got to just let him know that we're going to do that. But yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I got some numbers. There's a couple of people that would like to have call in, or maybe even if we could get them here in person, would be really cool.
Yeah, we love it when people call in. We love it when we get comments. We're recording this one, so
we'll see how this goes.
We'll see how this goes, and we may have to go back to our live dog and pony show. But
yeah,
So
welcome to Angel.
So
Stadium.
Cooks before, and anything else?
Anything else? Actually, I'm supposed to play this Thursday. As a matter of fact, thank you for reminding me. I'm supposed to play this Thursday at the Cliff with the Ghost of Electricity, which would be Ray Weston on drums, Jeff Glass, the judge, and Mr. Ben Wagner, and myself, and very possibly the great Albie Margolis. Albie baby. But but it's supposed to rain this week.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've got I have a gig coming up on Friday at Costello's, and it's a fun joint and this and that. But you know how it is. It doesn't even take rain. It takes the threat of rain, and people hunker down here.
Winter storm.
Yeah, winter storm. El Nino's in effect. So I'm hoping that goes off, and then Julio Pitchfork Sunday, November 19th.
Wow, that's a great poster. Who did that?
Yeah. I think Langelo did that.
Ah, Lance.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Anyway, we're going to be at our place, and Jeff Garola is playing guitar and singing. He's a blues phenom. He's really a good showman.
Phenom.
He's a phenom. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so that's what. And then various and sundry other gigs coming up that I'm going to have to call you and ask you where I'm supposed to be, like you just did with me.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I already checked it off because Ray was like, "Yeah, it's supposed to rain," and
Oh, so yeah, it's already out of your mind.
Well, I was like, "Okay, so that's out,"
Yeah. Well. Anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's nice to be important out here in the world, but way more important to be nice. We'll see you at Saloon real soon.
Yeah.
Joel, thank you. Johnny, thanks. Good to see you.
Big fun as usual.
Always a good time here.
We always sit down and go, well, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah, well, it's
and then
funny
an hour later.
Yeah, well, there's. I mean, we just touched on stuff. You know what I mean? And again, it's our opinion. You know what I mean? It's you're entitled to yours. I'm entitled to mine. Johnny his. The Wizard, he gets 2.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like, do your thing. I'm not saying I know everything. But I see things a certain way, and you see things.
I know some things.
There's some things I know. Yeah. She's a mentirosa. Anyway, never trust a living ass. Live and love like you mean it. We'll see you in the saloon real soon. Peace.